So today I am trying to switch it up, something different, anything and everything Stranger Things related, which is what I am known for as a writer. Just feel free to ask me any questions or anything, and I will try to get back to you. As Christmas-like things, aka Courts. Yes, I'm currently in the progress of writing my sequel, Stranger Things Season 4, which is a fan fiction, an alternative version of the fourth season on Netflix. So it's got its own things. It's very alternative, but I do have to say I'm shocked with how much the latest season is similar to mine. I have to say it's pretty awesome in so many different ways, and even the future series, which is the last one, I can't say 100% what happens in that, but I can imagine what could happen knowing the characters. But yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of things I want to talk about with that stuff in general. I have some writing tips for any of those out there who enjoy writing or just storytelling or just reading or just Stranger Things. I am just going to explain a little bit of writing tips right now. I have learned as myself writing these stories, or in Stranger Things in general. It's a very interesting fandom to write for, I do have to say. It can be a very challenging fandom with a lot of things that you haven't experienced before. And I'm not just talking about the upside down and the monsters, but like the topics, the different themes in it. It's a very hard fandom to write because it is also very, very dark at the same time. So, but I do believe in the way my stories are being written, I think it's the best way it has to happen. I can just say that my Stranger Things Season 4 story is a hell of a lot more insane than my Stranger Things Season 3. It is bizarre, it is crazy, it is definitely strange, and I'm having like so much fun coming up with all these like crazy storylines for it, which is just so peculiar. But that's the whole point of Stranger Things, is you're meant to have fun with it and experiment it, or the creativeness. And I think the stranger it is, the more bizarre it is, the better it is, you know. So don't be afraid to go wild. Don't be afraid to go crazy, because some people might really love it. And yeah. And I think it's so important as a writer or storyteller or whoever, if you like stories or reading or anything, I think it's so important to be told the way that you believe in. And it's so important when I'm writing my stories that I don't get too caught up in the TV show's one. So I try to really separate the two. I feel like one of the biggest mysteries in Stranger Things is to do with the life conspiracies and the Upside Down. So like, that's been a thing since the beginning. And even since my STS4, my previous book, I've been leaving some breadcrumbs about these mysteries. And in my Stranger Things Season 4, some of these mysteries do start to get answered. But I feel like there are still some that needs to not get fully revealed until my final one, because it's very different to the TV show. The characters go on a completely different journeys and adventures and deal with different things, but it's similar at the same time. Most of the stuff in my Stranger Things Season 3 is legit, especially when I answer it at the very end of my STS3 in the notes section. Or even at the start of my STS4 before even reading the story. I do hope to have majority of my mysteries answered, and other ones that still need answering, or ones that are new that I'm still coming up with. One of my favorite things to do when I'm writing is misleading. I think it's so fun to make you think it's something, but it's something else. I love mysteries, and I do think there will be more in my future series. I'm a pretty great writer. I am aware of which characters in the story need the story elements, like a suspicious background or locations where the mysteries are a thing is the most interesting. Because like a mystery, you want to find out what it is, I guess. And my ST series is still very, very much ongoing. And things are always changing. I still don't even know the end game yet. Nothing is set in stone yet, so it does depend on what the TV show is doing. But I always have room to implement new things or turn a story around or build on something. And I think that's what I find so fun about being a writer, is being able to leave things up to interpretation and not even know myself at what's going to happen next is really fun. I think with storytelling, you should have a rough idea on the story and then just explain exactly what you mean, going back later to fill in with more descriptive words and terminology. With Stranger Things, exactly. I say this all the time in my stories, but I feel like it really is based on interpretation and perspective. So for me, watching the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things, I started to get my own ideas of what could happen next. Like I knew high school was a thing. I predicted it after season 2 being a thing, and it did not happen until the 4th season. So I did make it a thing in my STS4 because that's what I thought was going to happen after the snowball dance at the very end. And another thing is Will Byers and the Upside Down, which I'm still not 100% about in the TV show. But I do have to say mine, it is a very big part of my alternative series. I do find a really, really thrilling and amazing aspect. Will Byers is my favourite character. I find him very adorable, a noble and good kid. He's sweet, he's sensitive, he's trying to find out where he belongs in the world, and he deals with the most strangest things. The music in my ST series is really cool. I think STS4 was done so good, like all the music, whether it's instrumental or songs, I continue in my STS4 to do this. Yeah, they just fitted the moments perfectly. So I am trying to continue doing that with my new stories. STS4 is a bit more of a challenge. And while I just listened to the whole instrumental album of the 4th season, it was over 80, I believe, and I feel like some of them will be in my STS4. The music is still going to be classic 80s songs, but I'm stepping into a new idea of using songs likely in Australian, like modern era of the 80s or early 90s to get the messages still across. So yeah, the music is still something I'm working on as well as the story itself. I'll probably go through my plan of my STS4 without revealing anything. It's hard because their storylines and everything is on this. This is pretty much my plan of my STS4. Like pretty much what I think the characters will deal with, what they'll wear on the poster, maybe some of the music. I guess I should talk about the first 3 chapters of my STS4, the prologue. Okay. I guess. I have to talk about something, so I may as well talk about what I've done so far in the Stranger Things season 4. And we can go from there. So, yes, my Stranger Things season 4 opens up very similar to the opening of the 3rd season with the Russians and them trying to open the gate and everything. So, that's what happens. The start is pretty much the exact same thing that happens. And then we go into chapter 1. It just gives you like a, just a little quick overview of what each of the characters are up to, what they've been doing since my STS4. Some of them are still not there. A lot of my OC characters are still not there because they will come back later in my story. I've planned that. But that's what I think will happen is, yeah, I think so. My OCs don't really need to be there right now at the start of my STS4. I feel like it's important for the main characters to deal with each other right now, with the circumstances and with what they're dealing with. Yes. So like, I don't know if I already said this or not, but my Stranger Things season 4 is available on Wattpad. It's free. And my Stranger Things season 3. It's just in the link in my bio. And yeah. So my first 3 chapters of my STS4. And I'm currently writing chapter 4, which has taken months, and I don't know why it's taken so long to write this chapter because it's the same length as the other 3 chapters. I just think there's more creepiness and it's darker in chapter 4. It's definitely like a, yeah, it's starting to like get darker by chapter 4, but the first 3 chapters, they're pretty, oh god, they're pretty sad and just messy and so down at the very start. And I feel like chapter 4, it's only going to get more crazy. Yeah. I suppose I'm just going to go through my comments. Okay, quick question about Troy in chapter 2. So one of my readers, Yoo-Hoo Sparrow 21 says, but I'm still curious about one thing. As far as I remember, Troy was still alive at the end of the last book. Will he still have a role in the next chapters? Troy Walsh, who is one of the bullies in Stranger Things, was in my STS4, my Stranger Things season 3. And he was meant to be a bully character. I was going to mention this later, but I'll mention it now. Troy Walsh has served his purpose, and my STS4 is a school bully in high school. I think Troy and James haven't gone near the group of kids ever again. After the camp, which is a very interesting location in my Stranger Things season 3 story, it happens towards the end, around the climax of the story. And they realized they would never win, so they gave up and likely left Hawkins. I would say, like, that's what I would choose to make happen to those two characters, Troy and James. I'd say they've left Hawkins. Just because I know the amount of stuff that happens in Hawkins so far, like, in the next few chapters, stuff happens in the town, and then even in my STS5, stuff happens in the town, and I just feel like Troy and James don't need to be there. I feel like the characters that are there don't really serve a purpose to be there, so they may as well just leave the town. So, yeah. I did consider Troy still being in it though, but I felt like it felt like there was no room for him to be there. It just felt like there's more ongoing threats they're going to be dealing with as my Stranger Things season 4 goes on. They're new enemies. So it's bigger than just bullies in high school, and yeah. As I say on my Stranger Things season 4 synopsis, I think it is, I explained that evil never ends, it evolves. So yeah, everything that was crazy in STS3 is only going to get crazier in STS4 and probably craziest in STS5. Yes. Oh my god, I love chapter 3 of STS4. It is, wow. It is a very, very interesting chapter. A good chapter. Man, can you believe this is a bit better Will, but who he is? Okay, so I don't know how to word this because I haven't seen exactly the show, so I don't know if this is true, but I get a feeling it is. About who Will is and his sexuality. Alright, yeah, just mention 11, being a normal teenager in this chapter. Is this chapter 2? Yes, this is chapter 2. Yeah, I just mentioned her being a normal teenager. It's 11. Oh yeah, this is really, really, really sweet moment I come up with at the end of my chapter 2 of STS4. It's when Will, what's he doing? I haven't read these previous 3 chapters in a while, so I'm trying to remember what happens. I'm like, how does he talk to her? Oh right, somehow she comes across, yeah. So Will has a moment with Robin, my OC character, at the end of chapter 2, and I find it very interesting, but Maya Hawke is one of my favourite characters and actresses, and I just thought, you know, because she's a lesbian in a TV show, she's not in mine, but I just thought it'd be really different and cool if she offered something to Will, even though she's not a lesbian herself. I still think she's a really, really cool and inspirational and beautiful character, and very unique to offer some advice to him, who is, you know, assuming his sexuality, not sure of who he is and everything. And oh my god. So if you guys don't know, but I had to kill off Jonathan Byers in my STS4, so that was a big decision. And because of that, a lot of things have affected everything, really. A lot of characters have to be going on different journeys and deal with different things because of that. So yeah, it's very, very sad. But I just felt like it was the right decision in the end. Just for the sake of, for my stories, I feel like it made sense. But anyway, I love the moment when Robin, at the end of my chapter 2, she speaks to Will about stuff. I find it very beautiful and endearing and lovely. And it's just so sweet that, you know, he has someone that supports him, and I think it's really nice. Oh my god, chapter 3, the devastation. I feel like chapter 3 is definitely one to, like, read. This chapter was really good. I don't know if he's a title sense. The title refers more to Will. He finally came out to Mike. Yes, he did. I know it's so irrational and everything that Will done this in my chapter 3, but with what happens in my Stranger Things season 4, I felt like it had to happen. I just feel like he had to do this. He had to do this so irrationally because of different things that happen as the story goes on. It gets chaotic. So it does sound very rushed, but I feel like Will, even in his own sense, like he's in a very hard time. He's very, very depressed and down on himself, and he doesn't even know what to do. So like he's pretty much bored. There's like nothing for him to do, and he's living in such fear of himself, and for so many different reasons. And if you did not know this, Will is not only assumed to be gay in my story, but he is also revealed to be an actual Demogorgon in my story as well, which is a monster in the Stranger Things. And I just, yeah, I made that a thing since my STS4 because I felt like, I don't know what it is, but I just always felt like Will has this connection to the Upside Down, and I swear in the TV show it's a thing, honestly, with everything that happens. It just, yeah. I feel like for me, one of my favorite things to look forward to is Will dealing with the Upside Down, so oh my god. Oh yeah. Jesus. Yes, Will finally, I guess you can say, comes out to Mike in chapter 3. Mike's pretty harsh about it because didn't expect it, and that's pretty much how he takes it. And all this stuff is happening to him so quick in chapter 3, which is why I knew this chapter had to be about him. It had to build up to like this devastation, pretty much, for Will. So like, oh my god, how does this start again? It starts off with him in chapter 3 going over to see Mike after his little talk with Robin at the end of chapter 2, which makes him feel a little bit better about himself. So he goes over to see Mike and believes in himself enough to like just try and be himself. He already is different enough, and when that doesn't work, he is devastated, as the chapter name refers to. And then he goes home to his mum. It's raining, and his mum Joyce tells him with everything that has happened, with Jonathan, with my STS4, season 1, season 2, that she thinks it's the best idea for them to move from Hawkins. And Will is not exactly he's not exactly happy about it. He's not stoked or anything. I think because Will has such a heart, and he doesn't want to miss his friends. It'll be further away from them, and it'll be harder for him, and he's already lost so much already. So, and then after that moment when Will does feel this with his mum, when he does learn this, he's then got a flashback, I think, of Jonathan's funeral in chapter 3, and he comes across his dad, Lonnie Byers, again. Yeah, it's interesting, and the poor thing is just left upset at the end of it, and then it goes back to when he's destroying Castle Byers. There's a moment in the TV show that happens, and I just felt like of what happens in the TV show, I felt like that had to happen to him too. There's certain things in the TV show in the 3rd season or the 4th season, because I feel like season 1 and 2 are exactly the same, but because my story is an alternative series, it is based on kind of an alternate universe of the 3rd season and the 4th season and the 5th season, because they're all so completely different. But yeah, season 1 and 2 are exactly the same things happened, but when I watched Stranger Things 3, there was quite a lot of moments that I felt like could go into my Stranger Things season 4, because I knew the mall was going to be a thing, I knew the Russians were going to be a thing, the politicians, all of that stuff that the third season done. I just felt like a lot of that stuff didn't suit to be in my STS3 because it kind of was like the fourth season in the way they go to high school and yeah. Oh my god, everyone wants this. I just really want to know Will be happy at some point in this fanfic because I really feel sorry for him. I feel like everyone does. Like everyone feels sorry for Will. So it really is up to whoever's responsible for his character, I guess, to convey his journey, to like show what will happen to him. So I definitely feel the way Will is in mine is the way he should be. I'm not saying that's what he is, but I don't know what he is in the show. But I feel like the way he's written in mine is very, very, very special, and I think it's so unique and so powerful, and I love it. I have to say, he's a very heroic role in my STS4. He is becoming stronger and he is evolving in many different ways, which, yeah, I find so good because he deserves it. I do say he will be happy at some points in my Stranger Things season 4, but I can't say he will be happy the whole time because obviously in Stranger Things, dark stuff always happens. And even if things are looking so good, there's going to be something that will ruin everything. And I feel like I can't say he will be entirely happy in my STS4, but there are moments going forward in the story where he will be a little bit more happy. And when he finds those moments, when he finds when he can be happy and realizes what he can enjoy in these little moments, just the little things. So like it's really cute and sweet. Changing the subject, I like the evolution of Max and Eleven's friendship, which is clearly a thing in the TV show, and Max and Elle in my STS3, my Stranger Things 3, they weren't exactly friends at the start. They were still not very nice to each other at the start of my STS3, so I wanted that to continue for a little bit until they went to high school together, until 11 was a new girl in school in my STS3, because Max already experienced that in season 2. So until 11 got bullied a little bit in my STS3 is when Max really like came down to her and like spread her wings and like was there for 11, pretty much was there for Elle, and that's when the two girls became friends, pretty much. And the night before they had a sleepover and that still wasn't working. But it wasn't until the next day where Max felt sorry for Elle that I think the two of them just became friends, and then yeah, it's really cute. And then yes, obviously in this chapter, in my Stranger Things season 4, the two girls go shopping and they even have a sleepover because I feel like that's just what they would do. And yeah, it's really, really cute. But I do have to say, yeah, they do enjoy each other's company now and they look forward to seeing each other. But what is going to happen when one of them does get taken away is what makes it really interesting. As I explained, chapter 3, The Devastation. This chapter's name was referring to many characters' sadness, but yes, mainly refers to Will. It's good that you felt sorry for Will, that's what I was going for. The thing is, not every character understands what Will's going through, how hopeless he feels, how upset and ashamed he is about himself. Yeah, so he's very similar to the character Will Byers. Yes, I find a lot of myself in Will. We feel like we both deserve more than we get. We deserve to be happy. As if it's negative. Will's gonna have moments when he feels happier going forward. It's been a long journey for him, and it still is a long journey for him. But yes, yeah, dealing with sexuality is a massive thing. It's a very challenging thing to do, especially since I didn't grow up in the 80s and I wasn't aware of how the situation was like and everything. But I think that's what makes it so much more challenging to write as a writer. That is something that I felt about his character probably since my STS3, honestly, because that's when, well, it's not until really the high school dance where he, I think, realised he was. Yeah. So, knowing that, for the rest of my STS3, he dealt with this assumption about himself. And then they went on this little camp towards the end of my STS3 where he's still thinking like that. And then right to the end, it's still like that. And in my Stranger Things season 4, it's still like that. So like he's still pondering that since my Stranger Things season 3. So yeah, with my Stranger Things season 4, he needs to figure out who he is and what he wants. Really, that's what I think his main goal is in my STS4, as well as knowing if he's more monster or human is another thing that I think he should deal with. And yeah, it's very interesting the way I implement that and deal with his character. I know Will reflects a lot of what many go through in life. He does. I think he's a very, very special character. Yes. He just wants to be happy. So, yeah. I'm even rereading the last book. Glad to hear it. My STS3 has a lot of clues. True. My Stranger Things season 3 does have a lot of clues. I don't make it obvious though. It's very in between the lines, the clues. Even when I reread it, I like pick up on things. And I'm sometimes surprised with like stuff. Because like I know stuff in my STS3 that is in my STS5 and I'm like, wait, what, really? I'm like, I don't know, it's just the way I write. It just happens, I guess. Like, you can just really build on things from like anything really. If it sounds like a foreshadow, or if it sounds like it's gonna lead to something, or be referenced again, or be explained then. So like, yeah, I find that very interesting, for sure. But at the same time, I'm still very much aware of the clues in my Stranger Things season 3, yes. I feel like a lot of them are done purely on dialogue, and yeah, it's not until my Stranger Things season 4 where I like my STS4, where I figured a lot of what they said in my STS3, I was just like, wouldn't it be funny if like what they said actually happened? Like, would it be funny if like the certain things that they said in my STS3 like happened and they were joking about it? Yeah. Even chapter 11 of my Stranger Things season 4 is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, I feel like it's probably the scariest chapter I've written yet, is chapter 11. It is crazy. It is just insane. I do take inspiration from the TV show, and I'm aware that it is getting darker. So I guess rereading my STS3 and just rewatching season 1 and 2, I pick up on a lot of ideas as well. But yeah, I do write very meticulously and mysteriously at the same time. Sounds familiar. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.